Welcome to M365 Professional. Hello everyone, and for the next few minutes I'm gonna walk you through a series of live product demos showing you Copilot and Microsoft 365 in action, showing you how I can stay on top of my work. Now, for this demo, I'm gonna take on the persona of a vice president of marketing at a company called We basically manufacture and ship high-end recreational and camping gear, and we are about to launch a brand new product called the Zenith 2010. So I was traveling for the last couple of days meeting a business customer. And I missed an important launch meeting on Project Redwood, which is the code name for this new tin. And what I'm gonna show you is how I use Teams with Copilot to stay on top of meetings I missed. And so here we've got a meeting recap. And on the right-hand side, I can interact with Copilot to ask any question I want about what was discussed, and it will use the transcript of the meeting to respond. So let me show you some of the interactions I've had to show you how I can stay on top of this meeting within just a few questions, saving me a bunch of time. So I started off by asking, summarize what this meeting was about in one sentence, and it was about the launch timing and market readiness for Project Redwood. I care about the big decisions, so let's just go straight there. Were there any big decisions? And yes, there were two big decisions. The launch date for Project Redwood was delayed by 2 weeks to allow more time for product testing and certification. Now that's a pretty big deal. Now if you receive that information in a meeting summary, you sometimes don't get the deeper context. And so Copilot lets me ask any question to get more details. So here we go. Was it an easy decision to delay the project? And you can see, no, it was not an easy decision to delay. There was disagreement among the team. And the team had to compromise on a 2-week delay instead of a month and keep the press event a schedule. Now we're unearthing a lot more detail than you could get from the meeting minutes. Now I want to decide if I agree with the decision. And so what I ask is, list the pros and cons of the decision to delay in a table. Now, what I love about this prompt is it organizes the information in a very easy to understand visual way. So you can see the pros very clearly allows for more time for product testing and certification, and it even includes who made that comment. So you can see Marlene, she was in favor of delaying the project, whereas here we have Daniel. He provided a reason why we should not delay the project. This gives me a really quick way to assess for myself whether I agreed with the decision and to support it or not. Another final question I asked here was, what date would you recommend for the launch event, and which exec do you think should be our spokesperson? The reason I asked this question is because it shows how Copilot can reason over all the data and information that was shared. And in some cases, humans really can't organize those thoughts quickly enough. They would need a whiteboard to put all the timing constraints, all the event details, the engineering milestones, and Copilot is able to cut through that noise telling me that the event should be scheduled on March 20th because it's the earliest date that allows for product testing to be completed, event setup, and the rehearsal. And you can see here Paul should be the exec spokesperson because he's available for the rehearsal and the event itself, unlike Amy who is traveling and also has a board meeting. So, I've now spent 3 minutes getting up to speed on an important launch meeting, and I'm now ready to go on to the next step, which is using Copilot for Microsoft 365. Now, think of this as your digital chief of staff. You can ask any kind of question about, meetings, people you interact with, files you work on, basically anything. It just interacts with all your work and business context. So the question I'm gonna ask, because I am way behind on email, there's about 500 emails in my inbox. I'm gonna ask it to summarize key emails from the past few days relating to the project, organize the updates in a table with a column for topic, the update and the action where I am mentioned, and include any deadlines it provided. So while I send that, think about how much time it would take me to look through my inbox to find emails on Project Redwood. Not to mention all the distractions I would get from other emails that are competing for my attention. Now Copilot is organizing as you can see this is live. Copilot is organizing the topics, the updates, So here, there's a customer opportunity with Fabricum, and the action is to confirm availability for a video call with them. The launch schedule, as you can see, has been pushed back by 2 weeks, which I heard about in that meeting. And the product specs for Project Redwood have been finalized and have been shared with me for review. As I prepare the pitch deck, I now need to create a product pitch deck based on that. And so I'm gonna first start with my Copilot window. I'm gonna create a presentation from file. And the Zenith product spec shows up first because that's the most recent document I've been working on. Now while I send that off, so Copilot is gonna spend 1 to 2 minutes building this. Now it's worth calling out. You may notice I have the Northwind Traders corporate branded template here. This is important if you want to get something that will at the end look and feel consistent so that the slides, look on brand. And that just gets me closer to my final product when it produces the final deck. As you can see, it's starting to churn out the different titles. It's identifying sections from the Word document that it thinks are logical titles to have throughout the slides. It will also generate speaker notes, which is the final step of the process. But the last thing I'll say, while it sits completing this, is it's also going to generate, it's also going to produce the right images based on what's in the Word document or what's logical from the corporate branded library. It's also going to be possible sometime in the near future to use DALL-E 3 generated images. That integration has been announced at Ignite. It's not in product today, and we haven't yet announced AAGA date. When that comes, you can imagine how powerful that would be in terms of generating the perfect images to accompany your slides. So here we go. We have now got our slides. And let me just jump through a few of these. You can see how beautifully, elegantly organized these are with the same template. It's got agenda introduction. There's my value proposition. And so as I scroll through some of these, you can see they all look great. I mean, they're not going to be pitch ready. So for example, this table didn't format itself perfectly, but some of these things you do need to fix, but it gets you 80 to 90% of the way there. And each of the slides also has speaker notes pulled in from the Word documents, so you can really remember what the slide was about. Now, that just gives you a very quick overview of how I use Copilot in Microsoft 365 to stay on top of my work as an executive at Northwind Traders. And you can only imagine how my entire marketing organization is able to use Copilot to keep the business moving forward and to really stay on top of their work. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. M365 Professional. Check out more content here.